Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cinematic Schematic, the official podcast of the cinematographer.com, your home to thoughtful conversations on film. I'm your host, Caleb Masters, and today I am very excited to be hosting a special interview that is spotlighting three filmmakers behind the short film, The Thrilling Adventure of Amos Waters. The film, of course, is going to be playing this Friday night. It's on the festival circuit, and if you're in the Seattle area, this Friday, you have a chance to see it in a theater on the big screen. Film will begin be playing at NFFTY, that is the National Film Festival for Talented Youth in Seattle, Washington, which is, as of lately, my new neck of the woods. Before we go any further, very excited to welcome the filmmakers behind the film. We have three joining us today. First up, we have the film's writer, director, Ella Janes.
Hey, thank you.
Also very excited to be rejoined by not her first appearance. We've had her on a few different episodes. She does some really great programming over on the Dead Center Film Festival team. But in this role today, we are talking to her as the producer, Burris. Paris, welcome back.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
And lastly, excited to talk to the cinematographer. I don't get cinematographers on the show as often as you would like, as I'd like. So this is super cool. Dillon Milner. Dillon, welcome.
Hey, man. I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Well, first, I just want to say congratulations, guys, on getting into NFFTY this year. Super awesome film festival we have here in the Seattle area. Congratulations on all the work, and eager to see it myself at the festival.
Thank you. We're excited. We're going to be there this Friday. Can't wait.
For listeners who might not be familiar, give you a little bit about the film. The Thrilling Adventure of Amos Waters is the story of a 10-year-old boy, Amos, filled with a childlike curiosity about the world and a craving to understand all aspects of life. So I thought I'd kick things off, Ella, just by kind of asking, I was doing a little bit of research on it, and this film does take on some, potentially pretty tough subjects, using some very notably imaginative ways to kind of like work through those. Where did you sort of find inspiration for this type of story, and how did you choose this as like the short film that you wanted to make?
Yeah, so it all really started with a Christmas Eve mass my senior year of high school. I went to church with my family. It was my first time ever going to a Christmas Eve mass. And I remember sitting in the pews and watching just a very strange series of events occur. The altar boys didn't know how to light the candles along the aisles. This old man got up in front and gave a sermon and then kind of forgot where he was and what was happening. And then this other woman the entire time was sitting next to me, just smacking her gum throughout the entire service. And I just started to think, like, what brings people into a church? What brings people here to find this kind of comfort, solace, whatever, community, whatever it may be? And I thought to myself, what would it be like if it was a, 7-year-old boy? What would bring him here? What are the circumstances that would cause him to kind of have a moment where he needs something bigger in his life? And it brought me to Amos. It brought me to Amos and his story and his family and kind of this idea of exploring and going into an adventure of something so much bigger than him, something that he couldn't understand as, a 7-year-old, 8-year-old. And yeah, I think it just left with this, it left me with this really almost absurd exploration and adventure that I thought would bring some humor and some perspective and some nuance into a film. So that's what Amos is. That's its foundations, its roots, is all really just Christmas Eve mass.
At what point did did Ella hit you guys up, or did you hear about the project and think, hey, I want to be a part of this? I'll throw it to you first, Paris.
Yeah, so I had met Ella through Dead Center and was familiar with her work as a programmer for that festival. And she emailed me one day and was like, hey, I have this script, and told me about the story. And I read the script, and we just both were super into the idea together. And Ella had made plenty of films before that, but I don't think she had really formally worked with a producer before. So but she had big aspirations for this project and all of that. So I was happy to jump on board and bring it to life. And yeah, it was the best decision ever because it was so much fun.
It certainly looks like a fun project to be a part of. Now, Dylan, how about you? Did you just like go to some ad online that said cinematographer needed, or had you and Ella met before? How'd that collaboration come about?
God, I wish there was just an ad for that. No, yeah, me and Ella had been working together for quite a few projects actually. And I was doing a lot of stuff in the electrical department, like gaffing a lot of different projects, working with her as a DP, as a director. And I kind of talked to her about, wanting to start DPing more, and doing that more full time. And she brought this project to me. I mean, I was like stoked after I read the script. I think it was like it was like the year before, but just like it highlighting Oklahoma so much, and just a story that I was excited like to tell personally, and to be a part of. So I feel like I was able to really bring a lot into that, and like really get excited about, shooting something that I felt like resonated with me personally.
Yeah, super cool. And you guys mentioning Oklahoma being the primary place that this is filmed. I mean, what was that in terms of like location scouting and trying to figure out like, hey, are we going to have the places to shoot that sort of accurately represent the vision? Ella, maybe you can kind of speak to that. How'd you go about like trying to find the right places to film in Oklahoma?
I think it was my last year being in Oklahoma. I knew I was leaving for college, so I just had it. Like when I was writing, I just knew exactly where these places were. I had lived kind of this experience of exploring Oklahoma myself because I moved to Oklahoma when I was 12. So I had kind of an older version of Amos where I got to explore the city and understand all the different aspects. And I really just wanted to translate that like feeling of being in Oklahoma to the rest of the world and really like cement it in a movie. And so I think like yeah, a lot of those locations were just like the gold dome that they walked past, cookies I knew we had to have in there. Um yeah, and then Paris really like came in with Mark's shortstop and they were just awesome. They were so awesome and excited to have us. Yeah. So I think it really was just like a community effort of everyone in Oklahoma just excited about this project and just excited to show Oklahoma off.
I also
Yeah.
feel like even looking back, it seems like, oh, everything was so easy. But with every project, there's always, issues, especially with locations and finding places and things falling through. But I feel like, especially with this one, like there were so many generous people that when we would have a location fall through, like it seemed like the next day there was something even better, right around the corner. And
Yeah.
just the generosity of the people and like getting excited about us coming there to, film was it was exciting.
Mhm.
Nah, that's super cool. I mean, especially when you're talking about like the Gold Dome, that's like such an iconic Oklahoma City piece, right? And I imagine, Ella, it sounds like you kind of had that similar experience. I mean, not the fictionalized version, but like you were saying, like you came to Oklahoma young and you got to see it through like a youthful lens, and now you're kind of looking back and incorporating it into the story. That's super super inspirational there. I love that. Um, Now, I have to ask here. I did notice Paris is not the only Burris. It would be on the call sheet. Of course, you have as she's the producer, but there's also the star. Maybe you could elaborate a little more on how you went about casting for Amos Waters.
Yeah, so the film stars my nephew Eric Burris, who at the time was 8 years old. He's 10 now. And he had never acted before, and he auditioned just like all of the other actors who we saw. Like, we had in person auditions, and we were seeing a lot of really great kids, and it just kind of wasn't fitting right. Like, we weren't like the dynamic between the two central kids in the story was really important. And so we had to find two really great kids who worked really great together and fit the characters in the story. And we also knew that that lead role was a heavy role for someone so young to take on. And I just we were auditioning, and we were still kind of looking for the right kids. And I just turned to my nephew one day and I was like, "Hey, Eric, do you think you would ever be interested in being an actor?" And he was like, "Sure." And so I started like um practicing his lines with him and getting him ready to like come in on audition. And it was Ella's decision in the end, and I just kind of opened the door for him and he walked right through it. So
Yeah,
it was cool.
as soon as I heard his little raspy voice and his long hair, I was like, this is Amos. I know it. I know it. Yeah. And he just he was just he's just the best. He's just the best. There was no way we could have had anyone else. Like, Eric is Amos.
I was going to ask, because working with child actors oftentimes can be quite the feat. I mean, what was that process, or maybe collaboration is probably a better word. What was the collaboration like? Because Paris has sort of an in, being the nephew. Like, did you guys work together, like, when trying to prep him, like, for different scenes? Like, what was that like?
As far as, like, behind the scenes, I didn't really have to do much. Like, I just basically read his lines with him and helped him memorize them, and that's basically it. Like,
Nice.
and then the rest of the magic just happened during shooting.
I think the big, like, for me, my big thing with Amos was I wanted to come into it on set as a really playful, fun environment to keep him kind of in a world where it was all fun and he didn't have to worry about, anything else going on around him or any of the problems that maybe was happening with production. And, like, for example, we had a secret handshake we would do anytime we had to lock in, and I would be like, come on, Eric, it's time for the handshake. It's time, we gotta roll. And like, my favorite memory on set was we had sugar glass bottles that he had to smash. And when he did a good take, I let him smash an extra one on my head anytime.
Anything for the art form. That's
yeah,
fun.
and it was just, like, I had to kind of take that childlike play too, which it, made it, I think that's why Dillon was so amazing, was because we had a lot of pre-production where he had sort of understood my vision, understood what we were going for, so that I was able to be pretty invested in Eric and his world and trying to, help him get there, which was, pretty natural for him. He did a great job. So
you guys are playing at NFFTY this Friday night. You guys have done a few film festivals now. What would you say, and I'll start with you, Ella, like, what would you say is the most exciting part about playing Amos Waters at NFFTY this year?
So I got to see the premiere at Dead Center, and it just, I think the most beautiful thing was the laughs that I wasn't expecting. I guess I always knew Amos was a little quirky and fun, but I never really knew that it would be something people would genuinely, like, laugh out loud to. And people just really did. They really took it and really ran with it all and just had a really fun time watching the film, obviously until the end, and you're kind of sat there and you're like, oh, I see what happened here. But yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about. I'm most excited about just kind of watching other people. That's always my favorite part.
Paris, how about you? What people watching while people watch your movie? Is that like a thing you look forward to?
Oh yeah. I mean, I kind of echo the same thoughts about, like, that first time you watch it in a theater with people, you don't know how they're going to react, and it's always, like, really great when they're super into it and laughing at the things you want them to laugh at. And people told me they cried and teared up too, like, I mean, it's really validating, all of those things. So yeah, I think that's really exciting about any screening at any kind of festival or venue. NFFTY's super exciting because it's in Seattle, which is, like, a great city, but it's also, like, a film festival I haven't been to before, so it's going to be all new, and I think it's going to be a really, really great experience, and that's what it's all about.
Awesome. Very cool. Dillon, anything you want to add? I mean, what are you most excited about the film playing at NFFTY?
Yeah, I mean, well, also this is my first time going to NFFTY as well, but also be my first time seeing Amos in a theater that's not in Oklahoma. I think that's exciting for me, just like to see the audience reaction to, like, how certain things land, and how it affects audiences that maybe don't know Oklahoma like we do, and how did we portray it to them? How do they perceive it? I'm excited to see that side of things, I guess.
That's cool. Well, it's I mean, there's always like, I'm sure whenever you play it, like at the, the hometown film festival, there's like a certain sort of fulfillment you get from showing it to like your family and friends, but also playing it into like this other film festival where you probably don't know as many people. This seems like a pretty exciting opportunity. Like, wait, is it just my friends who think it's funny, or do we all get it? That's cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, maybe, before we start to wrap up, a few other like kind of just rapid fire questions. What would you say is one behind the scenes factoid or trivia that you would say made Amos Waters a memorable production to be on? I'll go reverse order this time, Dillon. I'll start with you.
Okay. I think I can't remember, it was either like our last day or second to last day. One of the later days in a production, we had a scene planned where we are going to be shooting like down in a riverbed. And the night before, it just, traditional Oklahoma weather, poured rain. It was just the worst. And we had scouted like a bunch of different riverbeds. We found one that was perfect. I was so excited about it. I had a whole plan. And I go out there like super early in the morning, and it's literally like just rapids. Like there's no way we could even get near it, let alone shoot anything there. So I'm like scrambling. I'm texting Paris. I'm texting Ella. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, what are we going to, how are we going to film this scene? And there ended up being this like abandoned amphitheater that was literally like, it was right across the street, I think. And I had never even like heard of it or seen this place before. And we ended up shooting there, and it looked gorgeous. It's one of my favorite looking scenes in the film. I love it so much. Yeah, it's literally the poster of the film. So I feel like that was such a blessing. And then the rest of the day was so beautiful, and we did all of our exterior shots, and they all looked great. So sort of a huge blessing in disguise, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a classic like filmmaking story, right? You're like, oh my gosh, our location fell through. We had to use this other makeshift location. Oh, by the way, it's so pretty. It made it on the poster.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Paris, how about you? What's like one behind the scenes piece of trivia you could share with listeners today?
Well, I think one of the most iconic scenes in the movie is a scene in which both of the kids are smoking cigarettes together. And that was one of the funnest scenes to shoot, too, because Eric and Gavin, the two actors, they just thought they were the coolest things around. Like, they just had so much fun. Even though, like, Eric didn't really know how to use a lighter or anything. Like, it was his first time learning that, too. It was just, like, a very formative experience. And, but the fun fact, I guess, is that a lot of people are curious, like, okay, what's the deal with the cigarettes? And the cigarettes were chocolate cigarettes, which I didn't even know were a thing. So, yeah.
Chocolate cigarettes. That sounds dangerous way to get kids hooked on cigarettes.
Yeah.
But it works for filmmaking, that's for sure. There we go. All right, I'll bring us home here. Like, what is one piece of a trivia that you'd like to share with our listeners and viewers today?
When I was reading through your questions, I was going to say the sugar glass bottles on my head, but I spoiled that one for me. So I'm going to change it. And I think like the thing I'm really proud of, and what I'm really proud of our team for, is all of the convenience store Mark Shortstop scenes were all shot in the middle of the night. And Dillon did an incredible job lighting that to make it look like it wasn't.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's probably like my big one. I think that really, we pulled that off really well. And I'm just really proud. And that's my little secret.
Listeners, viewers, lighting a scene that's completely shot at night like it's daytime is not an easy feat. So hats off to you, Dillon, on that one.
I will say though, I mean, given we had such an incredible team on this one, like grip and electric department and camera and everything, I honestly feel like it looked better having so much controllability over it. Like it's just like shooting in a soundstage when you get to that point. So honestly, I'm happy with how it turned out. I think it was amazing having that opportunity.
What would you tell people who they say, hey, which movie should I check out at NFFTY? Why would you say, hey, I hope you come and see Amos Waters? What would you say to them?
I'd say it's a fun time. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna feel a full range of emotions, and you're gonna watch two little boys smoke a cigarette and chug some wine. And I think that's not something you see often. So yeah, come on down.
This is kind of like inspired by the Florida Project, but make it Oklahoma.
Oof, Florida Project, but Oklahoma. I like that.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of blanking. It's just it's fun. I like kind of what Ella said. It's such a range of emotions. Like you really you feel it all. And I feel like that's just I always enjoy films that kind of touch on everything like that. You know.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. And people tell me all the time that I'm the first person they've ever met from Oklahoma living in California. And so, come watch our movie and then maybe you can be from Oklahoma too, I guess. Like you'll
Hey
really
man,
understand it.
a lot of cool filmmaking stuff happening in the state of Oklahoma right now. Oklahoma City also on the up and up, so not a bad place to be, I would say. Ella, throwing it back to you just to kind of start to wind us down here. Where, just as one sort of like last reminder for listeners, where and when can NFFTY attendees catch the thrilling adventures of Amos Waters?
This Friday, 8:15, SIF Theater in Seattle. We're so excited. It's our Friday night spotlight, and I think we're second or third playing. So come check it out.
Here's the last question I like to ask everyone. It's not necessarily related to this film, but anytime I do an interview, I like to ask, especially filmmakers, what is your favorite memory, your sort of like favorite movie going memory that you would share with folks who are watching or listening today? I'll start with you, Paris.
I always go back to Sundance 2023 when I got to see The Doom Generation and meet Greg Araki, who's my favorite director. I mean, yeah, that's always my go-to. So, and I'm really, really jealous of everyone who got to go to Sundance this past year or this past Sundance because of his new movie that premiered there.
Do they have a date for that movie yet? That movie's coming this year, whether it's dated. I'm sure
it should be coming soon, but I haven't heard like a date yet.
I'm confident. Give it time.
So.
We'll find out. But before this year's over, I'm confident that it'll be some distribution deal. Great. Ella, how about you? What is your favorite film going memory?
I have, to be honest, so many. I can't even compare them or rank them. I just love going to the movies so much. But I think my most recent one is I was able to see Hamnet with my dad for the second time. And I bawled my eyes out start to finish, of course. But I think it was just really awesome to see it next to him, and to get his perspective on it after. And I think we both walked away saying it was our favorite film of the year. And so I think it was just, yeah, it was really bonding. It was beautiful. It's such a beautiful film. Chloe Zhao was amazing. So yeah, I think that was mine.
That's a special one to be able to sit down with if you have a parent who like really is also appreciates film and sort of what that film's getting at. That's amazing. Very, very cool. Dillon, how about you? What's your favorite film going memory?
God, that's a tough. I was like trying to think of an answer the whole time, and I still have nothing. I don't know. I really just appreciate like growing up. I'd always go to like the dollar theater with my dad, and just seeing random movies that I always enjoyed movies the most when I went into it. I didn't see a trailer. I didn't know anything about it. And I would just like leave the theater with like a completely different state of mind. And I feel like that was kind of the only sort of medium of art that really was able to like totally just like shift I guess my mood. Like you just feel like a different person when you leave the theater. And I guess that just inspired me to like, you know, be a part of that and kind of see how that magic is created. So I think about that a lot whenever I'm creating a movie is like, how could I, how do I recreate that experience that I once felt?
Sadly, not all of us will be able to be at NFFTY. Where can people follow up with the film and all the great things you guys are doing, whether that's feature film festivals or distribution or any sort of breaking news you guys have out? Where can people follow news about Amos Waters online?
Yeah, our Instagram is Your Girlfriend's Favorite Films with a UR. So you can follow us there. And then we all have our own personal Instagrams as well, working on our own projects.
Great segue. Where can people follow you specifically online as well?
Ella A. Janes is my Instagram. And yeah, that stays updated. So that would be mine.
Very cool. Paris Burris, where can people find you and all of the great things you're doing online?
Yep. Also on Instagram at Paris Burris.
All right. Dillon?
Yeah, Instagram or my website, which you can find in my Instagram, Dillon Milner. Just all one thing.
I'm so glad you guys got to the point where you use your real names for your handles. Millennials who were there at the beginning used all sorts of dumb, quirky names that obviously are not practical anymore. So great job, guys, for getting us there. All right, listeners. Again, the film is the thrilling adventure of Amos Waters. Again, playing at Nifty this Friday night. Check it out. Thank you so much, Ella, Dillon, and Paris for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's been a great time chatting. We'll catch you again next time.